Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Evospace. Last episode we did some very small work into the factory and made some progress to make research more constant. Now it's just a question of continue to expand the computations acquirement and start to enter into the next step, that is to starting working towards aluminum. We have two options to use, either bauxite or ruby. Bauxite, if I can find here, you give us aluminum and titanium. Into the other hand, doing ruby will give us chromium. That is the next tier of stay after aluminum with the stainless steel. So I can do ruby with no problem. And as we can see in the map, and by running over here we have a hub cluster, so I have to make one extraction place here and send it back home. So this is what I'm going to do off camera, and because the processing will be right here, I'll need to move my research station here somewhere else. And while I do so, we're going to continue to research other stuff here. In steel, we unlock the water washer. However, I'll not go after it because for now I don't have many resources from it that are interesting to me. To be quite honest, I don't have many of it. Maybe this gold here from the pyroplatite. And speaking of it, we also going to need to change the processing to insert the new machine here, the separator. This will be able to separate the impure dust into the pure version and a chance to gain something extra. In a lot of cases, it's not actually necessary, like doing malachite. I can get iron, but I already have iron from the magnetite. Magnetite can give me gold. That is good. That's the good stuff. And as I showed before, the ruby can give me the chromium to make the stainless steel. So I have to incorporate those processing later on. But for now, it is okay as it is. So I'm going to do the automation of extraction of ruby, bring it up here, and then move this somewhere else. Okay, so here we go. See you soon. Okay, I think I have done enough work to show you. First I move the computers here. I have 4 steel furnaces, powering heat pipes, that is powering 4 steering engines that power steel compactor generators, and each one power 5, 10, 20 computers into a single line, using this amount of power here. I could still do more, but let's leave it at that. So I have 20 here and 20 here, so we have 40 computations every second. This is making the research go quite okay, and I'm opening all the way to get to the medium voltage, but it's still a long way. I need to get into the aluminum for this one here, but this here is actually copper, so I don't know why it is so far down the tree, because the more power we have passing into the lines here, the more cables we have, the greater the loss of thermal we have. It was greater in the past. He has reduced a lot it, but still, loss is loss. That is one thing about the progress in the game. Now we have access to many steel things that are electric, like this electric furnace. We have the electric motor. If I can find it here. However, we have a big problem. See the power of the steel electric engine, 1.1 kilowatts. The Stirling version is double the power. So even though it is kind of more easy to use, it has less power. Same thing the furnace, only 1 kilowatts. That's the same thing as a stone furnace. When you compare to the steel furnace that is 4 kilowatts, that is a lot less. And everything after copper start to use a lot of power. As it is, I could power two machines, two macerators with the electric engine, because macerator only, copper macerator uses 400 watts. So those two, 800. So one can keep it. But to use together with the hammer, gonna require more. And now the new steel separator uses 1.6 kilowatts. Now, why do we have this formation here? Because now that we are deep into the steel tree, I have access to steel flywheels. In a simple term, those are heat pipes, cables, but for the kinetic energy. So instead of having to do this thing here with the engines below and here, so I can just dig this hole here, put this steel flywheel down here, and connecting all four. Now I can just go down there and power it from here. I will have a problem that is right into the pipe. So I still have to use the pipe, but it's going to be a little more easier. Let's make two steel Stirling engines. Put one here. Let's rotate it to the other one, and in this case here, because it is in the build mode, it creates a fake cube around anything, so you cannot go over there. I want to put an engine there, but this way I can't. But if I go into replace mode, it will allow me to actually aim that direction, and so on. And I placed this here into the wrong position. Now those two engines power the flywheel, and the flywheel power everything above. As you can see, we have one hammer working here, and we have two copper macerators working it. And very soon we're going to have the steel macerator as well. As you can see, they are here. One in each one, and later I'm going to put here, because this is an advanced material. It requires at least a tier 3 macerator to be the normal amount. In this case here, it's taking 1 minute to macerate it. One way to get around this is to build the next tier, this steel. We have here steel macerators, if I can find them, because they are kind of invisible, and because they are sorted into the base name that starts with the steel, sometimes it just vanishes my mind. I can upgrade it, but as you can see, it's gonna use double the amount of power. Do I have it? This is going to use 1.6, so 1.6 here, 3. Like now. Yes, I could actually upgrade to both to steel and still have power left to do. Let's get the steel macerator and replace it. One here and another one around here. Now they are going to work at half speed, at the 6 seconds. No, it's gonna work at the 30 seconds now. So now gonna be a more complete version. Now they put the dust can be then separated into the ruby dust and chromium. And ruby dust, intended that it produces gonna arrive here. Then gonna be placed into this steel electrolyzer. It's going to take about 8 ruby dust to make 4 aluminum oxide and 1 chromium and oxygen. The aluminum oxide is coming here. It's going to another steel electrolyzer to become aluminum dust. It's put into this rack here and then put in this steel arc smelter to become aluminum. Ah, crap, really? This copper robot is faster than this steel one? You must gotta be kidding me. Anyway, gonna leave this to make for me some of the aluminum parts to start doing machines. Why are you? But now I have a problem here. We have the oxygen that is filling up. I have an Uzi for it, but only later on. For now, there isn't much I can do with it. The recipe here is completely bullcrap. And because it is into other stuff require also more advanced stuff that you don't have access now. So have to actually void it. There is a way to void it. We have something called destroyer. Over here, this first one is the copper destroyer. Now they have an icon and just like this. So in this case, I need to place it somewhere around here. Now one to the side. Here you have an input for fluids. Have to do is just get the pipe all the way down here. Now it is inserting the oxygen here and destroying it very quickly. For some reason you can actually insert fluids using a pump, but doing so make it work very slowly. Don't know why. So as you can see, aluminum has been automated. And we're gonna get some chromium as bonus. This is bull crap. How can this arm here that is copper be faster than the steel one? But I guess because this is now the priority, it might stay. I don't know. Because this is actually very slow. I need to upgrade to a steel constructor to make parts faster. And since I require a lot of aluminum parts for my next big plan, I'm going to allow it to build it. Okay, that part is done. But I have good and bad news. The good news is that now that we are into the aluminum tier, we're going to have access to a lot of stuff that we did not have before. Like big generators to make more power at the more compact setups, and of the assembler to have access to better recipes, like making one copper plate into 2 wires, not one by one. Start making resistors or other stuff here. We have opened a lot of potential. Some new things like the chemical battery that has some very good uses for some stuff here. But that requires a lot of chemistry that we don't have access yet. And so on. Pyrolysis units to make some recipes to get some very special gases. To get water, and like here, if I make nitric acid, I can bat some malachite to get silver. So it has that uses. But at the same time, this is where it kind of stops making any kind of sense. I know it's complex to make, but the next step is to be stainless steel. Aside from some things that we have access to, most of the things we wish to use are already here. So we have a little motivation to go past the aluminum for a good amount of time. So now it's time to actually optimization the factory, making things faster, better, more compact, and so on. Like here, I have 4 steel generators. The aluminum compact generator is twice as strong as this, so I can make the same power with just 2 aluminum. This will make some setups interesting. And once I have access to the medium power, I might change my way to power the things here, that I am using heat pipes to move things around to electricity. And also we now have access to the very interesting fermenter. This is going to open some new ways to power stuff. And this is probably what I'm gonna do into the next episode. Get some aluminum and start to making a better power generation. With a better power generation, I can make better things and stopping being so stingy about the power. Well, I guess this is kind of it, isn't it? I really don't know what I have to show you anymore. So I guess this is going to be it. This is Ungod. Thank you so much for watching.